We are John and Ellie, the Barefoot Doctors. Join us on this new chapter on our brand new Leopard 45 catamaran as we unearth the jewels of the Med. And the world. Because life is better barefoot.
Before we leave Elba, we explore Porto Azzuro, a quaint little seaside town with a lovely port, excellent shopping and cute little streets. Elizabeth's eagle eye managed to find herself some gorgeous clothes to add to her apparently empty wardrobe. We lifted the anchor and headed off only a few miles around the corner to find a sunken plane that was marked on the map and was apparently a really good dive. It was not at the place marked on the Navionics charts, so we then did a bit of a search pattern, towing him behind the boat, a bit like when we were searching for conch. Finally success, and he saw it at the bottom of the ocean.
It's right there.
I got stuck by a jellyfish on my ass.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
It hurts?
A little.
Without a suitable place to anchor, Ellie took over the helm and just held the boat in position while we dived the wreck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. How was that?
Good.
What'd you think? What'd you see? Tell us.
Actually, the engine failed.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. First one engine failed, and then the other engine failed. And they were travelling from like Naples to Genoa or somewhere up north, and the plane just came down.
Did they?
Yeah, they all survived.
Before the sun's even come up.
Now the real question for sailors is, has the sparrow farted yet?
Glorious sunset. Oh, maybe it's a sunrise. I'm a little bit tired yet.
It is lovely starting early in the morning when it's all calm and nice orange sky, flat water. It's beautiful. We'll get there at a nice early part of the day so we can enjoy the destination on the same day that we arrive, so it should be great.
And where are we headed to?
Giglio, which is about 35 miles away to the top end. So winds are not very variable. Start from the east, they're going to be calm for a few hours, then they come from the west, and then they change to the north, and they're all under 10 knots. So we're hoping we can sail most of the way because I don't want a motor.
Arrivederci, Elba.
So the wind came in at about 9.5 knots, so we put out the Genoa and the mainsail, and we were managing 5.1 knots. So we now have the code 0 up,
and as you can probably see, our speed is about 4.4 knots and the wind strength is about 6.6 knots, so that's true wind strength. And we're sailing along pretty straight and flat. You can hear a whining noise, which is the propellers spinning. So you see how the instructions are: neutral gear must be engaged while sailing to prevent transmission damage. So at the moment our engines are in neutral, so the props are spinning in the water. So that causes a whirring noise, which if you listen, you can hear a high-pitched whirring. Ignore the squeak. I'm going to put the engines into neutral and you'll see that whirring noise go away. But also watch the speed of the boat. So we're doing 4.3 knots at the moment. Into reverse, the whirring goes away. At that time we only lost 0.1 of a knot. My experience is we often lose 0.2 of a knot. Sometimes 0.3 of a knot, but presumably that's if you're going a bit faster. So here's a little aspect that probably people don't think about. We're sailing along, the wind's dropped a bit, so we need a bit more sail. So instead of turning the boat up into the wind, because currently we're sailing downwind, if we had to take that one reef out of the main, we would have to turn up into the wind and drop the sail. There's too much force in the wind when you're sailing downwind to take out the reef and pull it up. But instead of increasing the sail area in the main, what I've done is I've just rolled out the Genoa to the full extent, and we've got now goose wing. So we're using essentially a large area of the jib, which is probably the size of the reef main, certainly close. So at least we've increased the sail area, and that's what you're looking for, and that can be done single-handed, no delay. We've only got 3 miles to go, so the speed's picked up by half a knot or a knot, and we're sailing along quite satisfactorily now, instead of all the hassle of taking out the reef and go off course. So very quick, very easy. Use your jib in preference if you want to increase or decrease your sail area as the first step. If we'd been sailing for another 20 miles, definitely I'd be taking that reef out and sailing with the main sail on its, optimizing the main sail area. The key here is that there's often several ways you can do things, and there isn't an absolute right or wrong. You don't have to take the reef out of the main if you don't want to. You just work out what works best for you and the boat. Another thing I want to show you is we are running goose winged, and instead of using the correct sheet, or the normal sheet, which is the green one on the starboard side, run through the rollers and obviously to the winch, what I've done is I've brought the starboard sheet across here and attached it to the cleat down there. So what that does, it pulls the sail out to present more surface area, and also stops it from flogging about as we go over the waves. So that way you get a lot more sail area, and it's more stable for when you goose wing. So I hope that helps.
We sailed into Campisi at the north end of Giglio, which is a holiday town. Again, like most Italian anchorages, it was packed with boats at anchor, and all anchored very close together. The anchor goes down and appears to set nicely, and all the boats have to anchor outside these red buoys for the area that is protected for swimmers. Everyone's in holiday mode.
Catamaran.
Oh,
Down
no.
big waves. It's amazing.
I like it here.
Yes.
And we go out exploring to see the characteristic vertical rock that Campisi is famous for. David went out spearfishing. He had never speared a fish in the past, but showed determination and persistence in doing the job. This time he came back successful, which was very exciting.
What's up? Hiked from the beach. So there's a big beach. Clearly they've made the ropes because people have fallen or something. So. All right, in a safe spot, safe enough.
We often do yoga on the front of the trampolines, and we danced while the sun was setting. We settled in for the night, but it was short-lived. Oh my God, so what just happened?
So the guys in that anchored after we'd arrived, about less than 20 meters in front of us, have lit a fire on the back deck of their motorboat.
At first I thought it was like just one of those fake fires, because I thought no one in their right mind would light an open fire on the back of a motorboat. We sat here for a while in disbelief that anybody would light a fire on the back of their boat, and then I started to see embers flying off the back of their boat.
Because they were blowing it, trying to get the fire going stronger.
She's blowing it.
And
Oh
of
my
course,
God.
and we're like 20 meters downwind from them, and it's just unbelievable, really.
And so
I've never seen that before, to be honest. Nobody,
I've
I've
never seen an
anybody
open fire on a motorboat, on any
on any boat. That's right. I went to the front of the boat and I said, you know, por favore, you know, fire, no fire, you know, fiora, and I don't even know what the word in Italian for fire is, but fortunately the guys spoke enough English that they understood what we were saying, and they were trying to reassure us that there wasn't any risk and they were only burning cardboard or...
And it was just a little fire. It was just a little fire.
But we could still see the embers
It was
flying
just a
out.
barbecue. And even at the end of the conversation, some embers flew across their deck and I kind of looked at them, you know. But I thought, wrong people to pull up and have a fire off the bat. We sort of explained, we said, you know, it's dangerous. You can't have a fire on a boat like that, and you're too close to us. And if you want to have the fire, then you need to go away from us. And you know, we've just lost a boat in fire, and you know, you can't do that. Kind of shaken a bit.
They were, I mean, they did say, yes, that's okay, well, the fire hasn't started anyway. They said they were having trouble lighting it.
If they needed the fire to cook food and they didn't have a stove or anything, so I said, you know, if you need to cook food, we have an oven, we have a stove, but geezy peeps, oh my God.
Anyway, they've stopped the fire and they said that's fine. The fire didn't start anyway, they said, so we'll see. The next problem we have is through the night. We just got to worry that they don't bash into us because they've anchored so close to us. Did think they were going to just day trip us and then leave, but clearly they're staying overnight, which is a bit of a worry. We're very close, so we might see them again through the night, honey.
The joys of boating, actually.
Okay, well, we'll tell you if anything happens through the night, guys. The first challenge we had was big swells coming in from the south, to which this bay was exposed. All the boats rocked uncomfortably up and down in this 1 to 2 meter swell, and with everybody so close to each other, it made it very nerve-wracking. Very soon after, the wind veered to the south and increased dramatically in strength, rising to 20 to 25 knots. Boats were dragging all over the place because the holding here is poor with not a lot of sand on top of rock. The strong winds and uncomfortable swell made it very unpleasant, and in fact we also dragged on 2 occasions, woken up by the anchor alarm in the middle of the night twice. Quickly getting the engines on saved us from hitting any other boats, but we did come within 1 meter of the neighbouring boat, and we were quite thankful when the wind eased later that morning, but it was quite an unpleasant night. That is unfortunately boat life, so you have to take the good with the bad and be prepared to live through those episodes to enjoy the good times.
So join us next week to explore another jewel of the Med, and you can kick off your shoes and come barefoot with us.